machine learning, deep learning. You hear these terms thrown around all the time, right? From the news to your phone to your Netflix queue. But what do they actually mean? Are they all just fancy ways of saying the same thing? Well, not quite. And figuring out the difference is actually key to understanding where our world is heading. So let's unravel these buzzwords once and for all. So you've got these three big ideas, and it's easy to think of them as this confusing jumble of tech terms, but here's a better way to look at it. Think of them like Russian nesting dolls. One fits neatly inside the other. Stick with me, and I promise you'll see exactly how it all connects. Here's how we're going to break it down. We'll start with the biggest doll, the big picture, artificial intelligence. Then we'll open it up and look at machine learning, how these machines actually learn. Then we'll go one level deeper to find the real brain of the operation, deep learning. And to wrap it all up, we'll see how they all work together inside one incredible piece of technology. All right, let's start at the very top of the pyramid, the big one, artificial intelligence. This isn't just a single piece of tech, it's the entire field, the grand vision that kicked this whole thing off. You know, at its heart, AI is really simple to explain. It's the quest to build machines that can think, reason, and make choices, kind of like we do. It's about taking any task that would normally need a human's intelligence and teaching a computer how to do it instead. Now, that might still sound a little bit like science fiction, right? Thinking machines, but I can almost guarantee you've already used AI today. Let's talk about Google Maps. Think about it. When you plug in a destination, Google Maps isn't just looking at a static roadmap. No way. Its AI is working in real time. It's analyzing live traffic reports, calculating all the possible routes, factoring in things like accidents or road closures, and then it makes a very complex, very human-like decision. What is the absolute fastest way for you to get there right now? That is AI in action. Okay, so AI is the smart system making the decision. But how does it get so smart in the first place? Well, that brings us to our next layer, machine learning. And remember, this isn't something separate from AI. It's one of the most powerful ways to achieve AI. So here's the game-changing idea with machine learning. It's all about learning from data. See, in the old days, programmers had to write millions of lines of code with hard rules for every single possibility. If this happens, do that. It was exhausting. Machine learning completely flips that around. Instead of giving the machine rules, we just give it tons and tons of examples, and we let it figure out the patterns all by itself. It literally learns from experience. And you see this every single time you open up Netflix. Have you ever wondered how it just knows that you'd be into that weird documentary or that new action movie? Well, that's not a lucky guess. That's machine learning. The machine learning system is constantly analyzing everything you watch. It learns what genres you like, what actors you follow, even what shows you quit halfway through. It compares your taste to millions of other people, so when it suggests that next show for you, it's making a highly educated prediction based on all the data it's learned about you. It's pretty wild. Okay, so machine learning is amazing at finding patterns and stuff like your watch history. But what about recognizing a face in a crowd, or understanding what you're saying to your phone's assistant? For those really complex jobs, we have to go even deeper. And that brings us to the next nesting doll, a powerful type of machine learning called deep learning. Deep learning takes things to a whole other level. It uses truly gigantic sets of data and processes it all through a very special kind of structure called an artificial neural network. And it's this unique structure that lets machines do these incredible things that seemed impossible just a few years ago. I mean, think about unlocking your iPhone with just a glance. That's pure deep learning. Face ID doesn't just have a simple photo of you on file. Oh no, it uses deep learning to build a complex three-dimensional mathematical map of your face. So how in the world does it build that map of your face? Well, the secret is in that name, artificial neural network. And it's called that for a very good reason. The entire concept is modeled directly on the way the neurons in our own brains are connected. Let's make this super simple. Say we want to teach a network to tell the difference between a cat and a dog. First, you feed it an image. That's the input layer. Then, that image passes through these hidden layers. The first layer might just see basic lines and edges. The next layer combines those into simple shapes, like an ear or an eye. The next layer combines those shapes into more complex features, like a snout or whiskers. And after passing through all these layers, the final output layer looks at all the evidence and makes its decision. Yep, that's a cat. So let's put it all together. This is the big aha moment. Remember those nesting dolls? AI is the biggest doll. It's the whole concept,
Open it up, and you find machine learning, the idea of machines that learn from data. And then open that up, and you find deep learning, a specific, powerful technique inside machine learning that often uses those brand-inspired neural networks.
Okay, we've looked at all the individual pieces, but now for the fun part. Let's put them all together and see how they work in perfect harmony inside one of the most complex AI systems out there, a self-driving car. And what better example than a Tesla? A self-driving car is maybe the perfect showcase for how all three of these ideas, AI, machine learning, and deep learning, have to work together as a team. So let's break it down. The big, ambitious goal, making a car that can drive itself, that's artificial intelligence. The car's ability to get smarter and better over time by learning from the data collected from every mile driven by every Tesla on the road, that's machine learning. Its incredible ability to look through its cameras and instantly recognize a stop sign, a pedestrian, or a bicycle, even in the pouring rain, that's deep learning. And that deep learning is powered by neural networks making thousands of split-second decisions every single moment. See, it's the whole stack, all working together. So there you have it. It's not so complicated after all, is it? AI is the goal, machine learning is how we get there, and deep learning is one of the most powerful engines driving us forward. These are the building blocks that are already reshaping our world, from finding the best route to work to, well, actually doing the driving for us. And now that you get it, the really interesting question is, what's next?